What is up, Element 26 family? How are you? So today I wanted to talk about shoulders. And when talking about shoulders, you have to remember there's a lot of motion happening at the joint, and there's not a lot of, say, passive stability. There is, but there isn't. So there's a lot of structures across the shoulder joint, but there's not a lot of stability coming from the actual joint itself because it's not that deep. So the joint is essentially just like a golf ball on a tee. The hip, in contrast, is a little deeper. So the hip's going to have a little bit more bony stability versus the shoulder is going to have not as much. So the structures around it have to be working in sync. AKA the muscles. You have ligaments and you have a labrum, and then you have like the bicep tendon, a lot of those structures also crossing the joint, but the rotator cuff, the pecs, the lats, the other smaller muscles there, they have to be firing at the right time in order to put your shoulder in the right position so there isn't any shoulder issues. So today I want to go through 3 tips to help keep those shoulders loose and keep you moving through all your movements in a smooth way. This can also help if you want to relieve some pain and some symptoms too. So let's go through a flow. I got similar to what I talked about with the plantar fasciitis in the last video. I have a stretch, I have a roll, a stretch, and a kind of like an upper back stretch mobilization. I thought these were the best ones to go with in terms of the shoulder. So, and these are all targeting the lat muscle. So if you think a lot of people, they're gonna be kind of here in terms of flexion when you're relaxed. Those lats like to adapt to that position, and when they adapt to that position, it gets short. So a lat muscle, this big muscle here, this muscle comes from the back, comes up, around, and attaches right up in here, okay? When that muscle gets tight, it pulls everything forward, and it only pulls on your arm bone. It's not pulling on your shoulder blade. It's pulling on the top of your arm bone. When that's pulling down, that humerus is coming down. So we gotta figure out how to loosen that up in order to get and restore some shoulder mobility, flexion, and strength as a result. So if you get the mobility, you get the strength. So we're going to target the lats today. So I got my foam roller here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to think about rolling this lat, but only up into the shoulder joint. This is where the meat of the muscle is. Right here, it's more rib. It doesn't feel good when you're rolling it. So I want to hit up in here. You know, this might not feel as pleasant either. So if you have one of these at home, that's fantastic. I'm going to show you in my small space I have here, just like this. So I'm not going to be way over here because then you're on the back of the shoulder. We don't want to be beyond the back of the shoulder. Remember, the lat goes in the front of the shoulder, comes around towards the front, still behind the pec, but it's still sort of to the front, so you got to pin it. I'm almost angled myself forward, and I'm just rolling. Don't mind my faces. I make a lot of faces. Just like this. Same thing like the foot rolling. So you want to have about 30 seconds to a minute. You can do this as part of your warm-up. I like to hold my arm on this side a little bit. Sometimes I put it out. Rolling, I'm just kind of pulling it up. And remember, if you roll the tricep, that's okay too. The tricep and the lat kind of do cross a little bit. So go for it. But it's going to get really sensitive right when it gets to that. There's like not a lot of meat back here. So be careful when you're getting up in there. You're just hitting that meat of the shoulder. You can even just hold it and pin it. Next thing I want to do is the stretch. So I'll show you on the ground actually, and then I'm going to show you standing up. So I'm going to show you 2 variations. The first, I'm going to go here, I'm gonna reach out and across my body. I'm going to pin my arm here, and if you have a surface that has some grab and you're pinned down, like my hand's not moving, I can sink a little bit more into this side here. That's exactly what I'm trying to stretch here. So my hand is in line with this other knee. So out, across, over this knee, sinking into this side. Same on this side, out, over here. And then I'm sinking down. Same thing, holding that and breathing. Thinking about breathing. Breathing is hugely important when it comes to muscle lengthening, especially from a relaxation standpoint. And then the standing one, I have to move my camera up a little bit. I'm just going to pin my shoulder here, so I'm going to hold a shoulder blade. I'm going to go here. This is a little bit more advanced. So I'd start with the one on the ground first, because if you have shoulder impingement, this can bring on some impingement. We don't want that. So I'm going to sink in. I'm just holding my shoulder stable, and then I'm sinking into my armpit and trying to touch the wall with my armpit. So I'm here, sinking in this way. If you can't get way overhead, you can even try this way too. But if you can't go way overhead, I'd say stay with the ground first. Here. And then if you want more of a stretch and get the tricep more involved, just take the other hand, push the other one down, and I'm feeling that all through here. Okay? Same thing, breathing. So if I was to breathe with it, in the nose, I can do that for like 8 to 10 breaths, sinking in every time I exhale, or I can just hold this for a smooth 30 seconds each side. The last one I'm going to show you is going to be back on the ground. I'm going to go here. I'm going to take my foam roller now. Just going to lay right on the back of it here. I'm going to start up here. Now, if you're a little stiffer in your upper back, this one might not be the best option for you, and I'll show you in a second which one might be for you. But here, all we're going to do, elbows together, not too far, not too together, but right about there. We want to be relaxed in the upper back, and you're just going to sink down, let the roller push you up. Focusing on your breath. And you can hold it down at the bottom for a little bit. Wiggle around. The big key is just be aware of how much your ribs here are flaring. If they're flaring a whole ton, you're probably just using your lower upper back, if that makes sense. So think of your upper back as like your parts of your rib cage. So you're just flaring the lower part and just hinging down here. So if these guys are just way out here, probably not the best option for you. Remember, keeping those abs just slightly engaged every exhale is the way to go about this one as well. The other one, if you have a stiffer upper back or you have that rib flare, is going to be just like this. Take my hat off for a second. Don't mind my hair. So I'm going to be here. Now I'm squeezing in just so you can see me here, but again, arms up, exhale, get a light brace here, let your arms fall out and over. Good. If that's pinching your shoulders, just bend your elbows just a little bit and keep that contraction as you let your arms fall overhead. You're teaching your body to be in a good alignment with flexion and letting your arms fall overhead. If you're just flop it open, that's That's not going to get you anywhere, okay? So here. So the point of that again is to mobilize and open up the spine and the upper back, okay? So if you're able to get that upper back to open up and extend, you're gonna be able to lift your arms up higher, hence increase shoulder mobility. A lot of times it's not the shoulder joint that's the problem, it's the upper back. So these drills are very general and they're for mechanical based pain. If you have any other pain for any other reason, that's something to consult your doctor with for. Yeah, so movement-based pain, anything that causes from like, it hurts when you're pushing something overhead or it hurts when you go into a plank position. If you have any of those questions, throw them up in the comments and I'll address them. If you have any other feedback from this video, put it in the comments, I'll address it. If you'd like to email me directly, because you don't want to leave a comment, that's perfectly fine as well. My email is support, SUPPORT, @element26.co. I will respond to your email. Or DM me on Instagram @element26.co. That works too, whatever platform you're comfortable with. Yeah, that's all I got. So, and also, yeah, let me know what you want for like another video, follow-up video, whatever. I'm always down for anything. All ears. Okay guys, that's it.